G'day guys, Reese Zaka from Spinlight Studio here with Otto Audio to introduce you to your new go-to snare sample, the OA15K Bell Brass Sample Pack. This sample pack is based on an early edition of the Tama Bell Brass snare that recently sold for upwards of $15,000, and the samples in this pack are from that snare drum. The Bell Brass got its fame from artists like Dave Grohl, Nirvana, Brad Wilk from Rage Against the Machine, Lars Ulrich from Metallica, Matt Gasker from Animals as Leaders, Will Putney, who is an awesome guitarist and music producer, as well as countless, many others. Within this sample pack, you'll find TCI files as well as WAV files. The TCIs can be loaded into Steven Slate's Trigger 2 for quick, easy use. Included in these TCIs is a snare top, there's a snare bottom, there's overheads, there's a room, there's also a smash, which is a parallel compression that you can blend in, there is reverb that you can add to the sound as well, and there is also a crush, which is a distortion layer. So a lot of options for blending here, and there is also a blend TCI, which is a pre-made mix of all of these together. So if you just want to load something up quick, the blend is a good option. But you do also get all of the individual WAV files that build up these TCIs. So we have our snare top, you can see all of our individual hits here. Within each of these folders is 7 different hits and 7 different velocities. 1 being the softest, 7 being the loudest, hardest rim shot hit. Pretty nice. The WAV files can easily be dropped into a sampler and used as one-shots, or you can load them into a sampler and create a multi-velocity instrument out of them as well. And as a bonus, this pack will also include an added round of one-shots. So let me show you how to pull a sound with the 15K Bell Brass and just how good it sounds in the mix. So let's check out the TCI files first. So if you're familiar with Trigger 2, you'll know what you're looking at here. This is the Trigger 2 sampler. Now what you need to do initially is grab your OA15K Bell Brass sample pack folder, and you need to drop it into the same location where all of your Trigger 2 samples are kept. You can easily find this location on your hard drive by loading up an instance of Trigger 2 in your DAW and then going to settings, and up the top here under select base directory, you will see exactly where your Trigger 2 library is kept. For me, it's user, Reese Zaka, music, drum samples, Trigger 2 library. Yours may be somewhere else. Just follow that directory and then drop the sample pack in there. Then we need to come down and find Otto Audio 15K Bell Brass and click on this and open it up. Now we can see all of our subfolders. Let's open up Bell Brass TCIs. So these are all of our individual TCIs, and you can see I've already loaded all of these in. So we've got our top, we've got our bottom, overheads, the room, smash, crush, reverb, and the blend as well. And so all you need to do is click and drag these into these boxes to load them up. So at the moment, this is the blend that I've got. Got a really nice snap and crack to it, nice bit of low end. The Bell Brass is known for that really lovely ring that it has, and that's also what makes it sound so big as well. So let's just zero everything out and I'll show you how to quickly dial in a sound. So that's our parallel compression of this snare drum, a really aggressive compression sound. Really cool for just adding extra excitement. That's the crush, so some distortion, some heavy saturation. Really good for just making it sound huge. Little bit of that goes a long way. And then reverb. I think that's a pretty nice blend. Now over here, we also have the blend. So this is what the blend sounds like, which is just a pre-made mix of all of these TCIs. So if you didn't want to load all the TCIs up and muck around with this, you just want a quick go-to, you can just chuck the blend in and you can just use this on its own. That sounds great already. So let's have a listen to what our original snare drum sounds like. Okay, so it definitely needs a bit of help. Have a listen to this drum mix without the 15K bell brass in there. It's definitely missing some excitement on that snare drum. So let's get the OA 15K bell brass in here now. Okay, so absolutely massive difference. It makes the snare drum sound way more lively, way more exciting, way heavier too. So the original snare drum doesn't really sound that awesome, but this is like adding some extra life, making it sound bigger, giving it more sustain, just adding the top end and the low end that's kind of missing the airiness, the crack, the snap, like all of the good stuff. This sample's bringing it. And a little bit of light processing to this can actually go a long way as well. Just a little bit of clipping with more is more, just to add some extra aggression to the sound. A little bit of clipping, sounds great. Let's hear it in the context with a full mix. That's pretty crazy. When you take that sample out, it's just like the snare drum completely disappears. So this is doing a lot to hype the snare sound, make it sound absolutely massive, make it cut through the mix. This is a really great sounding snare sample. And let me show you how you can load up the WAV files as simple one-shots that can be blended in with your productions as well. In Logic, it's as simple as clicking on the audio file that you want to add a sample to and then press Ctrl D, and then it runs the drum replacement feature built into Logic. We choose our instrument as snare, and then we can set the threshold so that we're getting the right amount of hits. Now in Logic, it automatically assigns a drum sound to this. So we're just gonna come over to our MIDI instrument and we're going to click No Plugin, and then we're going to load up Quick Sampler Single Sample. And we can simply just drag the audio file in here, or you can search for it. So I'm going to grab our blend, and I'm going to grab our hardest hit just because this is a hard hitting song. I'm going to drop this in. Now on the pitch, we're going to turn tracking off, so it doesn't matter what note this is sitting on, it's not going to change the pitch of the drum. And now we can blend that in with our original snare sound. So even without any additional processing, this sounds really great in the mix. That was so simple to set up, just using a single sample, and that sounds great in the mix. You don't really need to do anything else with that besides level it and get it in there. So Reed at Auto Audio wanted to create a go-to snare for all genres of heavy music that could be blended in with your raw recorded snare tracks. The Tama Bell Brass just has that sound, the right amount of low end, crack, tone, and that familiar, famous it factor. So if you're looking for the perfect snare sample to elevate your drum mixes and just make them sound massive, then you need to check out the OA 15K Bell Brass. Check out that link in the description below. Head over to Auto Audio's website and grab this sample pack now. Thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.